guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals.
So I got this mic going now. It's super fancy. I glued on the little live kitten and I use it when I'm riding around. It's somewhat directional, and if we end up in a hurricane right now, we'll actually be pretty cool. We can hear the audio. But so I've got everything set up. We can start anytime.
Well, I'm here with whatever you guys want to discuss. I was just giving you an overview of me.
Sure. And that's what I want to talk about, right? Just because this is like the thing I do is called the American Awakening, right? A little background on this. In 2007,
I want the video camera.
I helped, in 2007, I helped the...
I'm used to going live by myself, but this feels so big, like it feels bigger than me.
Well, it's a chance for you to have your voice heard, and I think you have a really good voice. You have the same problems that, like, everybody has, right? I mean, everybody's trying to make it out like, they've tried to victimize everybody, and then they control you. Now, my story ties into that, and the way that what we did is, when we were in Iraq, we helped keep together and help bring together what was called the Sahawa, or the Awakening, right?
I've heard that word. Matter of fact, it's an herb that they use. The name is kind of like that. They smoke it or eat it or
no,
something.
this is like this was bringing together the Sunni and the Shia.
Yeah, I'm saying the word that you use it's a herb that they use for awakening those things in like the conscious world.
I'm good with that, actually. But so what we did is we helped bring them together, the Sunni and the Shia, to fight with America against Al Qaeda in Iraq for the first time in like 1,000 years, right?
The ancient war.
So how did we do that? With our goal was to do it without firing a shot, right? I can't go or don't go into the techniques. We help support the Public Affairs Office, which is very open about it. But what we were able to do with analytics built from social media, collected from social media, helped allow us to understand our targets, but that would be, the people that we were trying to influence.
Right.
So it can be used for good, right? If you can stop a war before it starts without firing a bullet, that's a powerful
Didn't I say
tool,
we can stop the war?
weapon.
I told him that the other night. I told him that we do not have to fight. It does not have to be a fight.
But that's all the awakening is, right? What we did is we helped bring them together by showing them a common enemy, all right? And we have a common enemy. When I say we, everybody, and it's not race, is it? Somebody, who was that said...
the niece of Martin Luther King.
Okay.
She said, it's not race. She said, we're all the same race.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're all humans.
Human.
We're all the same human race. But it's
ethnicity?
ethnicity.
So,
She said there's different ethnicities.
yes. So,
yes, it's a culture barrier. It's a very big culture barrier there. And I witnessed this in the shelter, and I was banging the gavel on it. Like, y'all are not addressing the barriers here, and you're making it very hard for us to cultivate what we need. But in that, I noticed that they were breaking up the cultivation of us grouping up. Same thing that they're doing now on the mass scale with masking us, telling us to get back 6 feet. Well, a lot of people are not culturally diverse, and a lot of people are against trap music. Well, the law had spoken in the 90s. It was a rap song that said, hey, and I can pull up the video with all the symbolism in it and show it to you, and we asked for 50 feet in 1995.
I've been socially distancing for the last decade. It's good with me, but I don't like this.
I don't.
Because it's the government picking the winners and losers. Walmart, McDonald's. McDonald's are making a fortune right now. They take away all of their cheap burgers and shit. And so who ends up paying for that? And then the mom and pop stores. I've been driving all over the country, but I've been taking the back roads.
Well, yeah, that's what I
And
want
all
to
the
address.
mom and pop shops
All the
are in
mom and
serious
pop
problems.
businesses, people, small business owners who are trying to get started, you're literally stripping that away from their, especially we're talking about people who starting internet businesses. Places like HelloFresh, Amazon, these are the big people that are making money. But people like me and you that are starting those online businesses, we're not getting started basically because they're taking all that stuff away from us before we can even get started.
Yeah. And I didn't introduce you guys. So
My name is Jason Lloyd.
Jason
Lloyd.
Lloyd?
Lloyd.
Loyd. And this is Susan. She's going to probably want to have me cut this out. I don't know. I work magic with that. And this is Verona.
Yes.
I got that right that time.
Yes, I am Verona Boyd. That's my government name, but I'm also known on social media as Big Dick Juicy, the fairy trap mother.
I love it.
And
What's the address?
For my Facebook?
Yeah. Or, and if you have a Twitter or anything?
My Facebook, you can find me, of course, you can find me as Verona Boyd, but you can also find me up under Life Redemption, which is my handle for my upcoming podcast, Stick Talk. And you can also find me under the handle Fairy Trap Mother, which is my personal image page.
Mm-hmm. There are a lot of voices that I've been hearing on social media. As much as I think it's broken and it destroys our souls, there's a lot of voices I hear on social media. Who was that one lady? Bevelin. All right, she's an African American woman, pissed off about abortions, right? And so she's okay, but you can be for it, against it. That's not the point. She is speaking out, right? She doesn't like the fact that more African Americans were aborted in New York last year than were born.
Yes.
And Susan, who's not on camera right now, is a CPA. How's the math work on that for humanity?
Well,
It doesn't work out very well, does it? Right?
no, it doesn't.
We're turning ourselves to being extinct.
Yeah. Right. So, Koreans have been dealing with that actually too. I spent 5 years in South Korea. And you can look up studies right now that in X amount of years, the South Korean culture won't exist anymore, right? And they're, for the most part, some pretty racist bastards, right? They're very, they're extremely xenophobic. Mm-hmm. It's like people look at us as Americans and they seem to want to put us at a higher standard, which, okay, I'm okay with that. I'll do my best. But I've lived 7 years overseas. And I see us as being an exceptionally good option. I don't try to, bring my culture to somebody else's. I try to respect theirs when I go there, and I've never had a problem in doing so. Mm-hmm. But, so we got introduced here. I'm Pat, American Awakening. And what we wanted to do was just to sit down and have a little bit of a conversation. I was going to put this here, and we got another angle there. But could you sit over here so we can, not violate Susu's space there?
She's like me, she wants to be off camera, but it's my calling to be public.
Yeah, well, she's trying to do her part too. I met her through Patreon, and, I think it's just amazing. All right, because it shows me, I've been trying to do this. I lost my job in 2015 for doing my job. I was an information assurance security officer for the Department of Defense. Refused to give a government guy administrative access to a classified network because he didn't have the documentation. I could go to jail for that.
Right.
And the guy threatened to fire me, and the next day they modified the contract I was on for 5 years, removing only my position. And then within a couple days of me being gone, modified a $12 million contract back to its original requirements. It sucks, right?
Yes.
So it doesn't matter. But what that did is that set into my life a series of events that brought us here today. You know, you've had very difficult times in your life lately, and I can totally feel your pain. You know, I went through that as well. I had a little bit of help, not because I was white, but because I was a veteran, right? That did give me some extra privileges. It got me in the veteran pod of the homeless shelter in St. Pete, right? And then when I'm in there, I'm sitting there watching all of these veterans zombified on the medication that they're getting from the VA. And yet the VA saying, oh, you know, they can't smoke weed, which actually is incredibly helpful for someone with PTSD, and they just want to be able to go to sleep, right? But instead of just being able to sit there and smoke a joint, they give them these drugs, and then they walk around like zombies in the homeless shelters of in the VA pods of the homeless shelters.
And just to add something in, I think that's more because of the pharmaceutical industry right
Sure.
then and there. I think that they are contracted with the military to push so many patients onto these drugs. And the contracts of the money that they're getting. One hand is washing the other.
Yeah.
And the people that are suffering are the veterans that you are seeing right then and there.
Yeah.
The ones that are walking around like they are Resident Evil. The ones that are not getting the real help that they truly need. But the reason why they're not getting it is because both people, the government and the pharmaceutical industry, are playing the same game.
Now, there are a lot of programs available, though, right?
Yes.
But they don't want you to get out. They don't want to get you out of that system. They want to keep you in that system.
Yes.
Verona, that was your experience too. But you knew enough about the system. I actually filed a civil rights complaint. Susan will vouch for that because the Catholic Church, they owned the property, and they had me. I was signing a lease where I would actually pay them for an apartment, a studio apartment that they had just set off. But they wouldn't let my children that were under 17 live with me. And I was like, well, wait, that violates the Familial Civil Rights Act law.
Yeah.
So, as a white guy filed a civil rights violation, right? And because it's there for everybody, right?
Yes.
So if you know your rights and you're truly right, you can just go online, fill out this form, and the government, it sets into a chain of actions where people who are just sitting there trying to justify their paychecks are going to jump up. When I went down to the Civil Rights Office in Clearwater, Florida, it was like the Maytag repairman. People don't understand their rights. There was like nobody in there. Nice decorations on the wall, looked great, but there wasn't anybody there.
And I think that's more because people are not reading into the new laws. They're not seeking the insight when laws change. We're just, when it pops up, we think like the news are supposed to tell us, and they're not. Maybe if you're looking at the news at 4 o'clock in the morning, they're going over the new laws at that time, possibly. But we have to get into the books ourselves when laws change, when things change, for us to understand and say, hey, you're violating our rights. We need to file that paperwork. But because we do not have that knowledge, not calling us stupid, we just lack the knowledge, we're not doing those things.
I didn't even know I was allowed to, that my time in service, which was honorable and then discharged, I didn't know that I was even allowed to use the VA.
Yeah.
Am I stupid? Yeah, probably. I'm smarter than some people in some things, dumber than others. But the system's complicated.
Yes, it is.
And some people look at that and go, well, you should have known that. Well, okay, I didn't. But then I found someone who did know that helped, right? And that's what we can do here.
That's all it's about.
The business card I gave you has a safevet.org, right? We're launching a veterans nonprofit. Really cool concept. But to be able to help veterans understand the complexities, especially older ones, how the older people, they can't send an email.
Yes.
They struggle with an email, and now you've got to go online that I struggle with, 20 years IT, to fill out, to navigate through the government's VA's website. You're going to have so many people fall through the cracks. And that's the same thing for the government site, where anybody is trying to reach out to the resources that are available to them. And if you don't take those resources, then the Don Lemons and these guys making million dollar contracts are going to just take them as tax exemptions or something, right? So the money is there, the power is there. You're a black woman. You check 2 major demographic boxes. You are the most powerful person in this room, and every black woman out there is. It's statistically, you outnumber men, and you check other boxes for services and resources, not to just get you sunk down into a trap, but to help lift you up.
Yes.
And explode, right?
Or supposedly.
Or fail. Because that's life.
That's life. But being able to take the opportunities and be able to do that, that's what we need to tap more back into. I don't feel like us as a people, and I'm just talking as a whole, we're not even taking advantage of the opportunities that we do have. We're so scared of what's on the other side of the street, what's on the other side of the street, what's on the other side of the state, that we're not getting to those opportunities.
And I see you playing with your kids. You love your kids.
Yeah.
You want to have their life be better than ours.
Absolutely.
That's a low bar for my kids. That's for damn sure. But it's good. It's why we do our thing,
Well, what I discovered, okay, so I started myself 2004. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I lived about 10 minutes from where Mike Brown was shot down at. And at that time, I was going through my own personal self-awakening. And I'll just tell you the truth, I lost my shit. I was crying. I stopped watching the news because they were blasting it all over the place. And mentally, I just couldn't take it. Like, I can't even watch Ellen. And it's just there. It's there. It's in my face all the time. And, like, I don't need to see it. Why? Because I live here. I live here. It's happening right here. And before Mike Brown, it was here. So why are you making a big deal out of it today? Because I'm 28 now. And it's been going on before I was even here.
Yeah.
So this is not new. And this was my whole thing when I started talking for the African American community. Stop it with the fake outrage. This happens every 15 minutes. Literally.
Do you see racism when you're walking around? You're going to see it. I get it. But for the most part, people are nice to people. That's what I experience.
This is what I've noticed about racism. Dealing with myself, I'm personal. I'm a dark-skinned man, been dark-skinned all my life. I have people maybe think that I'm uneducated, slow, stupid. I make sure I break every barrier that they feel about me. Even though as a group of people we may still be ignorant, I still make sure I step
out of your way.
I step out. So I can be in Euless, Texas, Bedford, Texas, and they take me in because I know how to conduct myself. I know how to interact with these people. Where we may be in Dallas, Texas, Oak Cliff, we may take young men from there and we try to bring them to Bedford. They don't know how to interact with the people up here. And that's where the racism barrier comes about to me, because they're somewhere new. They're scared. People are looking at them and they're like, oh, they're not supposed to be either. Where I come here, I'm comfortable. I've been here. I conduct myself as such. They feel that energy from me, so it's that more comfortable. So we don't have that racism barrier. I don't feel it. No.
It's fixable.
Yes.
What's there is fixable.
Yes.
We've been going, I think, in the right direction. I that's what I've experienced.
Yes.
And for me, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest, I really don't understand the concept of racism, but I do understand prejudice.
There you go.
And what I find is that people are prejudiced, and the prejudices are definitely turned into racism through media. If you don't know me and I don't know you, and the only acquaintance we have is the television or social media, where everything that's being presented to you is me being a crazy attitude new bitch. I don't know how to talk to people. My attitude just ain't right. I steal, I kill, fuck you. I don't like nobody. That person. If that's the only person you meet on TV of me, then when you meet me and in person, I'm cordial, I'm poised, I have high standards.
You held the door.
It's a
for
mind.
us
It's
the
a
first
conundrum.
time we
It's
met
like,
you.
oh no,
We're loving people, and
I don't get it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she's supposed to hurt me. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? So it's more of a fear thing than it is. It's more of a prejudice that has turned into fear. Because what you see about the black community is that we rob people, we're drug abusers, we're stupid. All we know how to do is throw parties and have gang fights. You don't see the eloquence that is underneath it, because that is what they're hiding.
But I think actually we do. I think we do, and I think they are not hiding it. I think they are fabricating it.
Yeah, they are. They
I
are.
agree
But
with that.
it's because we fabricate it.
We let it
and
happen.
well,
Yeah.
I'm speaking without you all.
Mhm.
I'm speaking. I like to when I speak about the things that are happening, I eliminate white people out of our conversation. Period. And not because of prejudice or anything, because I believe that you all are the target to blame for something that's not your fault. I was born in 1986. I was not beat. I was not dragged. I was not forced. I was not coerced. I never had to pick cotton. This is how I know it's something going on in time. Whereas somebody my same age was like, they did this to you. Wait a minute. First of all, my mama beat me. It was not a white man. It was not a black man. It was my mother. Let's be clear on who our problem is. No white man beat me into this place. And as far as I'm concerned, as far as whatever the school district has taught me, my ancestors, the people before me, made it out of this place. Who pushed me back into this place was the people in my house telling me that the white man is the reason why I'm in this place. But I go to white schools. You sent me to the very person that you are blaming. So is it the white man, or are you simply sitting back, being lazy, reaping my benefits, and then blaming someone else for your incompetence?
You did the segregation thing, right?
I'm going to agree a little with what she said. Both my parents they picked cotton. My parents are almost 80. They came from Mississippi. They moved from Mississippi and moved to Indiana to make better opportunity for their children. Their children made better opportunity.
I grew up on a farm.
I mean, but we want to keep on blaming people when you have in your own life to make your own decisions to make better opportunity. Is it going to be easy? No. Are you going to have setbacks? Yes. Okay. But let's not just keep on. Let's just keep on saying from, well, you know, we was picking cotton in 1920. I'm sorry, I wasn't born till 1980, so I can't relate with that. And let's quit blaming those people.
And what I'm saying is the people from 1920 ratified all that crap. So here we are, it's 1986, and I can go to college because it was a show. It's a different world.
So you were in high school, like in the 80s?
I was in high school, late 90s, early 2000. I graduated in 04.
See, but you were talking earlier about how you did the segregation bus thing.
Yeah, I was bused.
And it reminded me, I originally in my freshman year, I went to a very small farming community school at Michigan. Parents divorced, I ended up in Florida, right, with a huge school, all white.
Okay.
And they had the segregation, and but what they did was basically just bust in everybody, all the star football players and shit, from Gibbs High School.
That's what they do.
Which was like the only thing that school had going for them. And I was like, well, why don't they just build a nice school there? Maybe people would just, or give them give them a choice to go where you want to go.
And I'll tell you why.
Even in college ranks, it doesn't work like that. Who has the most money? Who has the best program?
Well, I didn't say it would be easy. I
Well,
just
not.
say
But
why
here's the thing.
why do you
Here's
have
the
to
thing.
go on a bus? Why can't he have a good school there?
I'll tell you why.
They don't have the.
the
They don't have the
funds.
funds.
Okay, but
we gotta
they don't
fix
have
that.
it.
Then
We keep-
it makes. I'm not
we keep
crazy,
talking about
right?
money.
Yeah.
It seems logical.
We
It
keep
does.
talking about money. That's in the physical. I like to talk about the invisible because everything is supply and demand. So when we look at the school districts, inner city versus where I was being bused to in the suburbs, it's not the quality of the schooling. It's the quality of the people.
Sure.
This doesn't have anything to do with race. It doesn't. It's the standard of the people.
The
In
teacher.
areas where there are women and men taking time to cultivate their children, what I mean having standards. In the morning we get up, we got a routine. We get up, we brush our teeth, we wash our face, we do our beds, we get breakfast, we check our homework, mom's checking book bags, dad's spanking butts, making sure everybody's in line, keeping the energy in order. People that have
Yeah,
a structure
structure.
and a pattern and a developed way of living a culture are successful. You are able to create successful generations. Well, where you come from in the area where I'm from, people don't cultivate. We get up and we survive. And it's not really surviving. Right now where I'm at, it is so many women and men, young children, boys, girls that cannot read. Is that the school's fault? No, it is not. I know it's not the school's fault because when I sit down and read to my kids,
Yeah, you said you love to read.
I love to
hate
read.
reading.
But when I read to my children in my environment, this is what's being done to me by my peers. Girl, what you doing that for? That's the school's job. I don't got time to do that. I don't do that. I send my kids to school. And that's not how it should be.
That's how it should be.
Nobody wants to help me with my children. We're so comfortable with letting everybody do it. But then a person told me this, when you are dependent on someone's niceness, you are also in line for their abuse.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because that's the energy exchange. If you're dependent on them to be nice to you and you accept their niceness and you have nothing to return, you're either going to work your way to the top or you're going to serve your way to the top. And there's no no gray area to that. You either going to work or you're going to serve. There are no freebies. So when you
talk
don't
a little
want
bit
to,
about your school segregation.
when you don't cultivate the idea that your mind matters, that your spirit matters, only the way you look matters. This is what we enforce in our communities, the black povertized communities.
Well, yeah, looks is
Looks
everywhere.
is Trump.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you look the part, you can make it. You don't have to have any. You don't have to have any
No
substance.
education, no
So
nothing.
the supply. It's the supply and demand. We're not demanding books. You know what
Actually,
we're
there
demanding?
was a book
Stimulus.
I was given as a kid, Clothes Make the Man,
Yeah.
actually. And that was kind of the point of it. You can, kind of
You can
get
play the
away
part.
with a little, if you can play the part, you can get away with it. And that's largely how I did.
But only so long. We've been playing the
For
part
so
now.
long.
We've been playing the part now. I'm 34,
that's-
so I'll give it 20 years. Now we're down 14.
That's-
Who's gonna lift us back up?
That's the problem. We've been playing the part so long. We haven't put anything else about it. You talked a little bit about segregation.
Yeah.
I didn't go to a segregated school. I was extremely smart. Okay, so at one point in time in 7th grade, I was bused out to the smart school. Okay, and it did wonders for me to get away from my peers that I've been knowing forever.
Sure.
Got around smart people I knew was going to be scientists, people who challenged me.
Yeah.
That's what's wrong with us. We don't want to be challenged. But then when I came to high school in 9th grade, I came back to the same people. We went to a big school, but our classes were over here. Then I started to understand, well, why is that? One reason is we're going to allow the teacher to be productive and teach us. Where I'm not in this class where she's have to telling people to shut up, sit down, please pay attention in class, this, that, and the other, that this is going to be on the test. She's not having this conversation with us. We're doing essays, we're doing projects, we're doing this. We're going out and getting bussed here. Now we got to write a whole essay about this. So we're learning on a whole nother different level. We're the same people. We come from the same place. But do we want the same things? That's what matters. That's what she talks more about. The behavior of, hey, I'm going to hold you down so you don't want nothing else. But us as individuals, we need to just want stuff for ourselves.
Yeah.
And in our community,
A
where we
little
come
help
from, they
doesn't
don't.
hurt.
No, it doesn't.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But we
you
are-
gotta.
We are in a situation for my I don't think all skin folks is kin folk. I have separated myself. I want y'all to know in my heart. When I came to Texas, I truly had it in my heart to want to help my people, and my perspective has changed. My heart has changed. My mind has changed.
You gotta help yourself
You gotta
first.
help yourself first.
When
Yeah.
we went, when
You
I was
gotta
in this,
wanna
I
help
was in
yourself
this,
first.
I was in this organization, and down here at this shelter, I won't say the name because I am pursuing legal things
Sure.
with them. And I was at this shelter, and I was amongst 99.9% of this shelter looked like me, with children just like mine. But I noticed that there was a difference in myself. I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I've cleaned my room. All of my clothes are pressed out iron. I'm ready to go. 6 o'clock come, they don't have to tell me that I need to find something to do. I came to Texas with my plan in my bag. So when I came here, I already knew about JPS. I already knew about Tarrant County Housing Coalition. I already knew about the shelters. I already knew about the workforce development. I already knew about CCMS. So there was nothing that they could offer me besides a bed.
That's exactly what I've been saying.
Only thing they could offer me was a bed. And in exchange for that, they wanted me to go to these classes. So when I went to the classes, I found them unuseful for myself. So I said, hey, this isn't working for me. And I applaud you for having something for the people that need them. But do you have a sector for a woman like me? I'm very educated. I have a high school diploma, so I don't need that. I have 3 resumes. I don't need career workshopping. I don't need to be told how to keep a house, how to finance a house, how to pay bills. I don't need that. What I need is resources. These are the business plans that I have. These are the resources that I've been able to reach out to. This is what I'm doing with my children. We've just made a big move. I want to get them some counseling. These are their talents, their skills. This is the money that I need to put them where I want them to be. This is what I'm trying to cultivate. And the lady looked me dead in my face and said, well, we don't have that. I said, well, you need to find that, because according to Federal Code Chapter 24, you are here to meet my needs, even if it hurts you, the business.
Yeah.
So after that, it was on. Every other day, they was looking for something to write me up. And I
Sure.
said, look,
Which is sad.
I said, look,
Yeah.
discharge me and send me back to the Salvation Army. That way I can have freedom to come and go. They don't have classes. And it's 6:30 time limit. We got to be there for meals and everything else. And I can do it without all the restriction, and I can handle myself. I spent 6 months in the 3 months program where they intentionally crippled me. My car was breaking down. They said, okay, we'll get your car fixed. They had me put it in the shop, and then they put me out Monday.
That did happen.
And
Yeah,
when they
just
put me
start
out,
talking when it happened.
when
I
they put me out, not only did they put me out, but they swapped me beds where they picked me up from at Salvation Army. They called down there and asked for a family and swapped places with me. They gave me 2 hours to pack up 4 children and 6 months worth of things that I had been able to cultivate for myself to create my better life. They did not put me in housing. They were trying to tell me that I needed to go say that I had mental problems in order to receive the housing. They sent me to
Wonderful.
they sent me to MHMR to say that I had a mental problem, to have me psychologically analyzed. So I went and I talked to the man, and the man said, I don't think that you have a problem. I don't think that you have any psychological issues, which I already
I
knew.
came in pre-qualified.
He said, I think that you have barriers that are not being addressed. I think that you need some therapy so that you can talk to someone to get the things out. So I'm going to approve your housing. I was approved. I was getting ready to move out. And they put me out, knowing that if I was out of the program, MHMR would not assist me, and I would have to go right back to the Salvation Army to get picked to go to another shelter. Human trafficking. So I sent them an email and let them know what that was. And I also
great name for it too. It really is.
And I also sent them an email letting them know that they had violated the executive order of economic mobility that was signed in 2018 under Donald Trump. And I also let them know everything they did to violate me, they didn't respond. So now here we go, litigation. Same thing with Salvation Army. My second time through there, I was back and forth. I had rapport with the social worker there, so she let me in. But at the same time, what I noticed with all these corporations, they have very unhealthy black women banging the gavel. Salvation Army, and I don't care, because matter of fact, I can name names because I haven't entered litigation yet. Salvation Army, Presbyterian Night Shelter. I want them to be known what they're doing.
Yeah.
I want it to be known.
Yeah. Like I said,
it's people up there now that are ready to file lawsuits, but they don't know where to go.
They don't have the education, the willpower, and again, in my mind, it always goes back to fear.
Why I'm speaking on this, I don't think it's fear. See, when you could just do what you want to do, life seems grand. But see, you can't do what you want to do and complain when it backfires.
That is true.
So you cannot have a grievance, complain.
I do that a lot, though. Probably.
But you have a solution. You have a solution, and you're willing to exercise your solution.
Dust yourself
what
off.
I found in my situation is that there are women that look like me, act like me, but they are not able to do what I can do. And it's not that they aren't able; they simply don't want to. Now I'm in this place in this shelter, and I'm telling the women, they're like, V, why they ain't hounding you, baby? Because I got a notebook this thick, and every time they violate me, I'm writing a grievance, and I am summoning the God. I want the big boss. You want some stuff to get handled? You call the man upstairs. Ain't that how we tell in religion? That's what we tell you. When you need something handled, you pray and you call the big boss. Well, that's what a prayer is. A grievance. You got something on your heart, and you need the big boss to handle it.
Yeah.
So I'm telling them young ladies, you gotta do this. Well, they're so ready to get with these men and the drugs in the street and the run to not look for jobs. So you can't complain when you're not doing. You can't complain. What I learned from is you can't complain. You got complaints, but you can't complain when you're not in the right. See, I'm in the right, so I can write down, hey, look, you pressing me. Oh, that's a beautiful word. But you're pressing me, and I am qualified. I've completed what I was supposed to do. I'm doing my job. My kids, I'm being called to the school. I'm out here, and I got back proof. But what I noticed is they weren't pressuring the women that were just running a flute on Lancaster, going around, because that's what they want. They want you to be out there getting the free sandwiches, getting the free clothes, just looking like you need it.
Living for today.
And you're playing by their rules.
I'm playing by their rules, but what I realized, then I realized in the situation.
Play by their rules, and it makes it really hard for them to screw you over.
It does.
You know the rules.
Well, then that's when that's why they start psychologically attacking me.
They usually are stupid rules. But if you know them and you can navigate through them, and you play by their rules, we don't set the rules.
No, we don't.
But once we get to a certain point, we can start setting the rules.
Absolutely.
What I learned is they wasn't ready for a person that knew how to play ball. See, we're not the crackheads that came through here in the 90s. We're their offspring. And we don't like.
We have any knowledge, and we have plenty.
Wait a minute, and what they don't know. See, but the thing is, they forgot what was put into play. It was programs that elevated us. We don't like them folks either. So when we came in the game, mind you, I've been playing the welfare game since I was 15, since I had my first child. So coming in the game, I may have tribbled, I may have out, but now at 34. 16 years later, I'm an all-star, baby. I'm Kobe on the court. I am getting ready to break this system down. When I came down here to Texas, I knew exactly what I was getting ready to do. He could tell you when I met him in August, I was dunking on the holes, and he was like, why are they on you? Like, I was walking through, I could come through, they'd be like, where you been?
Yeah.
Ma'am, is there any business that I didn't handle here? Because that you in my business. Because what they want to know is, how am I flourishing? Without their help. What's in my mind that's not in theirs. Now see, and then I'm talking about off the professional radar. I'm talking about simply being just the black women that are watching me flow, being evolved. Nobody has to tell me what to do. Nobody had to tell me that I had to watch my kids. Those are my damn kids.
Yeah.
Nobody has to tell me they need to be with me.
They're not going to do a better job.
And they're telling me you have to go get CPS if you want to be here. Well, then I don't want to be here because I'm not sending my children to tired, angry women like me. I'm tired of my kids. Y'all tired of y'all kids. Why do you want to watch my kids?
And then that's where the abuse in the children start.
Yeah.
You have people who
and
are
I think
watching
that's gone
children
up
who
with
are
this
frustrated
COVID
at watching children.
Well, that's why a lot of people want to. That's why a lot of people want to go back to work because the homes they created, they did not create them consciously.
Than the COVID.
They did not create them with their hearts.
Oh yeah, the COVID made them really look at the life that they created and say, hey, I have to deal with you.
And I appreciate COVID for that. COVID
People
is
aren't dating. People are. I mean, our survival as a species can only go on so long until people start, okay. Right?
and
Trying to keep it clean so I don't get locked up. But there are so many things that people don't know. Abuse is going up. That people know, but
Children
they still
abuse,
don't. They don't care.
spousal abuse is all up because of COVID.
But this is why COVID was put into place. See, I'm a God person. I don't deal too much with man. He'll tell you that. I don't deal too much with what man. I'm looking on the underside. And so when I started studying the words of coronavirus, the coronavirus is actually the nuclear waves that are being emitted from my hair.
Tell us about, and I love this, right?
This organ,
about your pendant. What
this pendant. This is a orgon energy battery. Now that term is it is trademarked by, it's copyrighted and trademarked by a guy that actually invented it. But since then it has taken away. And this, it protects. It's a protection piece, and it has different earth articles in it, like copper. I have gold leaf in here. I think that's tourmaline, jade, and it's basically to protect you against negative energies. And
you wear it largely because of 5G.
Yeah,
I love how that dovetails into. Right now, I'll be throwing up a thing on the video that shows my boss going after with a member of the Trilateral Committee, who's pushing for 5G, and we don't have. I'm an IT guy. I worked for him. He paid me a lot of money for my advice, and I'd tell him right now, back off that stuff.
IT.
Until you understand.
This 5G is $1 trillion industry.
Yeah. He was putting them together.
I actually worked for the satellite industry here that was for 5G. I've been against 5G since I've been knowing about 5G since 2011.
It's the mechanics. I mean, I love what it's capable of doing, assuming we can't destroy ourselves with it. But they don't know enough about it, in my opinion, to understand how the putting things that close together with emitting such radiation is going to impact people. I think
that's the problem.
So I want one of those myself.
And you're gonna need them. And you're gonna need them.
Well, I'm actually trying to fix it too, though.
Well, no. Here's the thing. I understand 5G from an internal place. That I put in place on myself. I worked a whole program on myself to get here. I was one of the poorest. I was one of the people, well, I can't say it like that. I was one of the people, I was just looking for the tools. But in order to do that, the tools weren't there, so I had to create them. And in that discovery is where I found my understanding of 5G. There is a dead presence here on Earth. But it's alive. It walks. But it is energyless. It is bankrupt. And it is looking for any live source to live off. It's what we would call in mathematics or in healthcare a cancel or a cancer. And it is malignant. It is out of control.
And people will be so quick to dismiss what you're saying there. But like I said earlier, Nikola Tesla, the guy that made alternating current, would have agreed with everything you just said.
The women that created
in the early 1900s.
Yeah, in the early 1900s.
Wait a minute, I want to say this. Also, I was doing some research the other night when I discovered the Treaty of Verona. The women that started the feminist movement, one of those women were nuclear experts. I'm a nuclear weapon. I am nuclear. I'm sitting right here, a nuclear weapon.
Yes. Atoms.
I know this about myself. I know exactly what I am. I know exactly what I'm composed of, and I know where my power comes from. I know that I am the creator of respiratory energy on Earth. I matter, absolutely, and I don't need anyone to tell me that. So that was when I first said, "Fraud." Somebody has to tell you that you matter. Oh no, that's a problem. That's a problem that you are waiting on someone to tell you that you matter. Nobody ever. My mom, I was the first person that had to tell. My mom told me that I wasn't shit, and I told her she was a bleep ass lie. I told her she was a few explicit lies in that one. And I told her that you just mad because I'm out dunking you. I got my first check after I graduated from high school. My first check, I was a CNA. I graduated from high school with my diploma and as a CNA.
Yeah, you
With a
did better than I
1-year-old
did.
on my hip.
You did better than I did.
Better than a
So,
lot of people.
so when I brought home my first check, I was still living with my mom. My first check after graduation, not a high school job, and it was $1,200. My mom looked at my check, and she looked at me, and she said, "You make more than money than me in my house." At that moment, I decided to move. I didn't tell her. I got my money.
Which
I put it in
isn't
the
what
bank.
that mom isn't what a mom is supposed to want. You know,
No,
to see you succeed.
unfortunately, not. It should be. But when you don't have no love there, and I talk a lot about this, she'll tell you this. I talk about competition between women. Everything's competitive. If it has to do with the makeup, the outfit, the way they carry themselves, the way they talk. They look at each other, they come up with mimics. Oh, I like their hair, I'm gonna have to go buy their hair. And everything's competitive.
Yeah.
That's why they don't know their self. It doesn't have nothing to do with the color.
No.
Until you know yourself internally, you can't walk around with your hair like this. Every woman who walks around with their hair like this in the natural, I always compliment them. Why? We live in an era
They're
of
expressing
glue.
their own
We
self.
live in an era of glue, wigs, and braids. Okay, so to walk around with your hair natural takes confidence, and it's gonna be somebody say, "Look at her hair, looking being that." It's always gonna be some type of negative.
But in the same breath, like every day I go out and I am accused of being a wig. Like
Yes.
if one more person
I was a
asks,
Paul Mitchell hair model at one point in my life.
if one more
Sometimes
person
God just
asks
says,
me
"Hey,
where I
change
bought
the
my
plans."
hair from, I'm going to poop a brick.
I think
Like,
we put her
but-
somewhere, and
but
some
we
lady was
are.
like, "Can you take your hair off?" And she's like, "No, it's my hair."
And we really have a self-identity problem.
We do.
And I'm speaking from a self place. I broke down about this the other night. I say, you know, and he even mentioned it. He was like, "Ron, you got a lot of people that around you. They not your friends. They want to be you." And I said, that doesn't even make sense. But it made a lot of sense when I retract the history of my life. I've only had one genuine friend until I started speaking my mouth on Facebook. This is how I'm able to know that there's a difference between us. It is a vulture that is eating off the youth of black women and men.
Yeah.
But it's starting in-house.
It is.
And the media is just a reflection of what's being broadcast in our homes.
Now, okay, so you're from St. Louis, Missouri, and we talked about this. I wanted to get your opinion on this. So we talked about the work that I did and in 2014, when the Michael Brown riots were happening, I and a colleague of mine, we trace routed what we detected as being an influence operation, an IIA, Interactive Internet Activities Influence Operation. You work in it long enough, you can see it, but by its very design, it's meant to be non-attributional. You're not supposed to be able to see it. So I had my colleague trace routed. He trace routed it to IP address in Ukraine. Don't you love how Ukraine keeps coming up all the time? Well,
I was just
so
reading an article on them the other day.
and then in like 2018, the three cons were brought in front of Congress,
Okay.
and they acknowledged that there was stuff coming out of the Ukraine using social media platforms, influencing the Michael Brown riots, specifically to create chaos
Social unrest.
and specifically to build up like the Black Lives Matter movement. And
Yes.
what do you think, with all of that, having lived there, if what I'm saying is correct, that's kind of jacked up, right? People, the thought of someone manipulating a situation in your area, in your home, for their political or personal profit, I can't, I want to hear it from you. You live there. Tell these people what you think of them messing with your life.
First of all, I think it's disrespectful.
I'm humiliated. I feel humiliated because, first of all, let me say that I'm 34 and I'm ashamed of my position. I know that I don't belong here. I know that I'm not supposed to be here. Willfully in my heart. I know that I'm supposed to be somewhere else off enjoying my life. I feel humiliated. I feel harassed. I feel raped. I feel robbed. But I also...
A little pissed, probably. I hope. I am.
But I can say that I'm not mad at the government. And I can say that I'm not mad at white people. I can honestly say that I'm mad at my own damn people. Because they're not stupid.
These were some pretty
Stupid.
pretty capable people, though. No matter how strong you think you are, like I said, the tools that are being used that I helped develop are really, so give people a little bit of a break, right?
I do believe the things that you all were involved with is a direct influence on it. Okay, I'm not giving no discredit to that, and I am outraged because I think of the people who's been harmed, shot, killed, or people whose careers has been derailed because of this. How many countless of people, thousands of people whose lives has been, derailed, or is not what it is because of this Michael Brown thing, and you come and you tell me, hey, we had some influence on that. If it went left, right,
just political
up or
pawns.
down.
Political pawns.
Yeah.
But these are your lives.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
But I feel like they're doing this, and they're just collecting analytics.
It's how they do it.
We're going to throw this out here. We're going to see what reaction are you all going to have.
It's how you do it.
Well, yeah.
Reflexive control.
Here's my opinion. Like I said, I like to look at things without adding all the extras. And from my perspective, self first. Self meaning everybody that looks like me or comes from me at this root. We don't want to do anything for ourselves collectively. And this is where I say, I don't believe in mental illness, but I think there is a competency issue when we have a person saying, you did this to me. You did this to me. And at the same time, we say, please help me.
To the same people.
Yeah. To the same exact person that we're pointing at and we're accusing.
To the same.
Now, for me, in my experience, when I go to this door, there's a wall. But when I was in St. Louis and I needed childcare, it wasn't the agencies that were turning me away. It was my people. My people did not want to help me. My people did not want to I cannot tell you, for the last 20 years, I will call my family, my fathers, my friends, my colleagues, say, look, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm trying to do. I need this job. It's an overnight position. I just need someone to watch my children while I work. Now, I'm credible. I will drop my kids off, and I'm going to come pick them up as soon as I'm off. Well, because of their demons, they didn't do the right things in the past. They had good parents that kept us. We were kept. Parents that kept us, they had Social Security. They had set their lives up so they could keep us at home. They didn't need anything from our parents. They didn't have to bring food. They didn't have to bring clothes. Likewise, Grandma had that at her house. Bring me my grandkids and go get yourself right. But our parents weren't doing that. Now, he comes from, his parents are that generation. His parents are my grandparents. But for that generation between 1965, Karen, the ball was dropped. If everybody had done it, the solution was there. I was born in 1965, by the way. The ball was dropped. In my community, everything was taken care of. We made it. Meanwhile, the pay rate ain't enough. But you accept this. And you get up and you agree to it. That's why things don't change. And then we have things like the EEOC that's put there. You want to complain to me in the break room, and then when I point to this big thing on the wall, ain't nobody got time for that. Well, then shut your mouth.
You're trying to play by the rules. I thought these were the rules. You actually have the rules right here on the wall.
But people want to complain, but they don't actually want things to change.
But what I learned from my own personal experience, when you take charge, you have to be accountable. And when you are being accountable, you have to say what you mean and mean what you say and stand on it.
Stand on it.
That is a backbone that our people do not have, and we do not want to have it because we have a lying issue. We lie, we scheme, we manipulate to get what we want because we are immature.
Well, and but that's like most white people I know too.
I mean, no, but that's what I'm saying. But see, that's why I like to have conversations where we just talk about ourselves. See, when I'm talking about me, you don't get to do this.
No.
Because if I'm talking about me and you talking about me, one of us talking about the wrong person and something being left out. So if I'm admitting saying, yes, I did this, yes, I did this, yes, I did that, you don't get the point to say, you did. You then have to say nothing or speak about what you did.
It's something I want to address while we're at this conversation. You want to know what's the difference between those two?
What's that?
You want to know the difference between those two? What she's talking about and what you're talking about? You can still go around a group of people. You may know 3 people that's going to have faith in you, that's going to invest in you, invest in your dreams, and what you're doing right now. It's going to push you. I've came up with business ideas, and because I'm so smart, the jealousy that people have had in my circle has pushed me down. This is something I've talked to her about every day.
Yeah.
And that's what she's trying to encourage me to do now. Hey, you got to put yourself around different people that's going to push you up, that has their own business ideas, that's going in the direction that you're going. They don't feel jealous of you.
And he thinks because it's personal, his family business is personal, and he thinks because we're all connected that I'm being like, oh, you just don't like them, you don't want to deal with them. Yeah, and they're negatives, and they're banking off of what we know. Like last night, the cousin both of us were living with, he brought me into her space, and when she saw me, she said, oh yeah, that's the energy I need, my new best friend. And in that same breath, what she tried to do? Trap me in her house. She didn't want me to move. She got my car, she didn't put my car in the register, got it towed off. We was already broke down, we was getting rid of it anyway. But she didn't want us to elevate. So then she started coming between our relationship like a snake. Telling him one thing, telling him another. And I'm trying to tell him in a roundabout way, like, look, it's some stuff going on here. And I told him, she really don't like me. She wants to be me. So he started sitting back and watching. He said, yeah. But what I started noticing is the difference between the dead energy and the alive energy. Now here, this woman and I, we're only 6 years apart. But here she is riddled with disease.
Yes.
And this is what 5G is here to eradicate. That putrid. It's a good and a bad. It's a gift and a curse at the same time.
People who are
right?
unhealthy.
It always is.
People who are unhealthy, the 5G is killing.
The corona lives inside of us. It is the fire that is inside of each and every one of us, black, white, whatever.
It's inside of us.
It is the total life force. It is the ATP energy that is created. Well, if that ATP energy is low, just like that phone battery, it'll eventually die. Well, the only way it keeps living is if it gets information and uses it. But it doesn't really know how to use it because it's empty. It has no sustenance. It's pessimistic. It's not vibrant. It isn't a blue flame. It's a red flame.
Yeah.
And it stinks.
I like to compare it to trying to turn on an old computer and try to download new information in it. It doesn't know what to do with it.
So
totally bummed me out. I couldn't get my new Beavis and Butthead to run on my new system. It's like
So you know,
it's the exact same.
It's like trying to put a record in a CD player. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
So when we have this, and now this is where we get into the Black Lives Matter. When you have this, I would be considered an extraction, because in a dead body, what comes from the mass is the matter, the gold. This is what they want to control. They don't give a damn about the dead body. Let them die. We need to control the mind. And the mind is the superpower. It is the extraction, the one of the many.
And I'm sure you know about that.
And that is what the
welfare that
press
you was dealing with.
that is what the press wants to exploit. It is pressing, it is squeezing, it is looking for the intelligence, it is looking for the one that knows, it is looking for the evolution so that it can stop it in its tracks.
I think
to maintain its elevated point here.
we should have the people that actually run these programs actually have to go through them for a few weeks.
Oh, and they
like
will.
like you know, not to be political, I always try to stay nonpartisan, but like Amtrak, I love taking trains. Amtrak is the most jacked up thing you could have, right? And you look at why, and they had like Hunter Biden was on the board of Amtrak. You know,
You'd
it's
be
not the
surprised
most.
how much Amtrak supports out here when you look at their record of
right. So it's like, but it's like, how many times do these
surprised.
people actually ride it outside of that beautiful section of Amtrak that they have between New York and D.C. Right? If these people actually ever took the train around the country, I think they should have. If you're going to be on the board of Amtrak, you should. And what's wrong with that, right? And as you experience it, you can say this is wrong, this is wrong. You and I experience something that most people that are running these things, that are good things meant to help people, never experience.
But you're talking about making corrections that's going to cost money that corporations don't want to pay. I was talking about this yesterday. I said, I'm not a person that needs to have a normal job. I'm a person that can make a job efficient. Meaning, I'm going to go do the job and say, well, what's the challenges? What's this? What's that? And make the job more efficient. But with making anything more efficient, first of all, it's going to cost energy. Second thing is going to cost money. And there's two things that the corporations don't care about. The only thing we care about doing is making money. We're not trying to make it safer. We don't care about that.
Not only that, what I've learned too in going through this process, they don't want the most qualified working for them because they can't tell you what to do. What they want to do is for you to tell them your ideas. They want to get you in, hey, we want to talk to you, Jason, and tell us how you did that.
So they can make a patent.
My father taught me better. How much you want? How much you want to pay me for that? 2-3 days fired, just like you. I ain't got no job no more.
Yep.
You won't let me upgrade my business. You don't get a paycheck. I've been done like that several times.
And it sucks.
I'm a CNA. I am one of the most efficient CNAs that the industry has ever met.
And
I choose not to work in the industry no more because I was being used. They want to use me for training. They want to know my secrets. They want to know how I have a hallway that stays quiet, that stays clean. And I have mental patients. People that need medicine for their mental issues, but if they go 4 or 5 hours as my client, they don't make noise. They don't have problems.
Yeah.
But it's because I'm meeting their needs. They're not really mental patients. You're saying that they have mental illness because you're neglecting them.
Yep.
Trust me,
I'm not a neglectful person. If you want my diagram, pay me for it. How much do you want to pay me to implement my program? If you do not want to pay for my program, you do not want my program. Because that's what you do.
Yeah.
When you go to someone as a business person and you're looking for something, you pay for that service. If you need someone to market your business and you do not have the idea, but you have a product that you know is worth something, but you don't know who to target, you pay someone to do that. That's the same thing when I come in as an employee and you see that I know something that you don't about the business and you say, hey, you can upgrade me. The first thing when you bring me in the office, you say, hey, we see that you're doing something and you offer me something. You don't just give me what you got for a pork chop.
And that's what corporations do, and it's modern. In my mind, it's modern day slavery. You're taking my ideas, you're taking my mind, you're implementing them in your company to make your company more efficient, and you're not paying me.
Yeah.
You're still paying me the same minimum wage, and you don't want to upgrade me because you think I may get further than you.
And that's the standard. That's the standard from. I could take it from the black household to the shelters, to the corporations, which is why I bailed out. I bailed out completely. How I've been living these last couple of months is that I've been living off making my lives and incurring donations off my own intellect.
Well, I tell you what, there's no bigger whore than a contractor in the military industrial contract. I got flex, right?
And right now, I believe
I just never gave the reach around.
Right now,
Oh,
I
that's gonna
believe
get me blocked
that
on
I'm
YouTube.
in.
We'll cut that out. No.
I believe that I'm in the industry of building life right now.
Mhm.
So, right now, I'm whoring. I need tools. I need backing. I need support more than anything. I feel like I'm one woman out here fighting for a group of
But you're
hopeless
doing
people.
it honorably,
Yeah, I'm doing it honorably.
right? So there's a difference.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
most
don't want. Honestly, I want your body. I don't want your money.
I mean,
There's something else to be built here. I need your presence. I need your I am. I don't need your complaints. I need your solutions.
But let me throw something in real quick here. We are doing this tonight. We're recording this today. We're gonna be putting this on. I'll probably even cut a little clip out here.
Yeah.
And we're putting this on Patreon probably Thursday nights, maybe, hopefully.
Okay, let me ask you all.
And,
do y'all tackle everyday issues, stimulus package, stuff that goes on? They talk
No,
about
I'm
on
mostly focused on the deep state.
Okay,
But-
I'm just asking because
but what
everybody
we're-
has different
Yeah.
avenues that
But
they
the
talk
deep-
about.
the
it.
deep
And
is
how it
real.
affects everybody. But what we're doing here, right, is for the I think I don't remember how Jason did it with me was like I think that day or that broadcast or the 24 hours, whatever we can generate on Patreon, we're gonna split with these guys, right, and help give them a start because she's launching a Patreon site
Yeah.
right now. And she wants to get her voice out because she wants to help people in her community, right? Whether you agree with it or not, that's not what we're here about.
Yeah.
We're here about helping
uplift.
people that are trying to help their communities, trying to do a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you mentioned batteries earlier. Well, a series of batteries is only strongest as their weakest one.
Absolutely.
Right?
Right.
So if you are a strong battery, you can help the weaker ones. We need to have those out there. We need to have those voices that are positive, that have experienced. We don't need necessarily. We got enough MBAs out there.
Yeah.
I said
Let's have some people that have actually
it's so
gone through the
funny.
system.
Yeah, and what
she's
I
got
felt
a good
like,
guy here with her, and we can actually. Your energy will spread positively throughout your community, right? And
So-
throughout everybody's
Yeah,
community.
Throughout everybody.
so
I think it's just
basically-
about knowledge. to
Yeah.
me. It's
Where we
about
are
knowledge.
right now is we're houseless. We're not homeless. We're always home. Now I make a great home wherever I'm at.
Mhm.
I do well on my own acuity with creating income. Today is our last night in the hotel. We don't know what we're doing tomorrow. We do have a group of people that help us. I do have a following that helps me.
Mhm.
I have found a home.
Mhm.
The man is waiting for me to make my security deposit to give it to him. He told me, when you give me this money, I'm not waiting on housing. I'm giving you your keys because I know I'm passing.
How much
It
do you need for your security?
My security deposit is $1,200. I have reached out to agencies, corporations that are supposed to help me. I'm waiting to hear back from them, but my name is kind of hot right now in their system.
So is mine. So you're in good company.
I want to be honest right now. They ain't real happy with me in their system because I have produced the startup of enforcing the law because that's where we're at. We need bodies to enforce the law. I have in my work files, my computer, my phone, my Google storage. I have everything because I'm working on freebies. I have to use my resources. I don't
That's
have a lot
how
of
I
money.
do it.
The minor will no longer be exploited by the major. And if you want our information, you will ask us. You will ask us and you will treat us with the respect that we give you willingly. And I'm talking about the 1% that's being exploited, the people that are being affected by this, not the comfortable people that's saying, give me, give me. The people that are reluctantly saying, I don't know, but if this is all that it's going to be, I'm going to take it. I'm also talking
You
to the
want
people.
them. You want to reach out to them.
I want to reach out to them. I want to reach out to the haves, to the people that have substance, to the people that have heart. Because what I found in my journey is that the love is not in the building. The love is in the streets. When I walk down the streets and I have homeless men and women handing me burgers, food, they don't have nothing, sleeping on the streets. And here I am with my kids. I get to go on the inside of a building that's harming me. And it's crazy that I should feel safer sleeping on a sidewalk. I feel more comfortable on a sidewalk because that's where the love is. When I pulled up at that place and I saw all those billions of people, and the first thing me and my kids saw was a young lady. You would thought she had mental problem, but I know better because I'm hurt. I know she don't have a problem. She's giving up. She done been through this ring so many times. I've been through this ring so many times. To hell with it. I'm just gonna piss and sit on a tree.
There you go.
Cause nobody wanna give me a pot. And I'm not asking for nobody to give me a pot. I go to work.
You don't give a shit anymore, do you?
But I'm traumatized.
You're kind of done playing.
And at that same time, while she's doing her thing in the broad daylight where people are everywhere watching her, it's a young man that comes up, a black man, to a white girl and holds up his shirt.
Yeah.
And it's another young black man that gives her a roll of toilet paper. Because she didn't have none. She was just ready to pull herself up. And here I come running with diaper wipes because I got a 6-month-old in my car. And girl, look, we girls, you got to clean that. And in them moments, I realized the love was in the streets. And I realized why I could no longer be in the house or in a shelter. Because I wasn't in need of it. I was already home. And I don't want to be forced to do something that I don't want to do.
No.
Nobody forced me to have kids by men. Physically. But mentally, emotionally, I'm running. And I can't run to a woman because she wants to harm me. So now I'm out here hoeing. Not in the sense that I want to be a whore, but I'm just trying to find my way.
Yeah.
And it's not, when it's man and woman, connections will be made. And if I'm out here young, not being taught anything, I'm making connections and I don't understand them. And now that same woman that kicked me, beat me, and pushed me to the streets is now blaming the man that, even though he was wrong in touching me with his private parts, she said he's not anything for not wanting to be in her house that started the craziness that ran him away and then ran her kids out. Now it's his fault because he don't want to be there and he doesn't have the stability because he can't go home to his mama house. It's the same woman. Can't go to his girlfriend house because it's the same woman. Now us little girls, we're not the same woman, but we're being pushed into these same situations because we're being beat because we're evolving.
And it's existed, right?
And it's
that's
the same,
what you're saying.
It's the same press. It's no difference in between Medea, the grandmother, and Media, the press. It's the same person. It's a system that is old. This system is old.
Well, you know, they couldn't have the stuff that
But they can't do it without our permission.
Right? The stuff that we do, right, can only happen by exploiting a problem that already exists, right? And so all the things that you listed out as the problems in your community, they're problems in everybody's community.
It's because women won't say that I am
and
the
they're
problem.
just exploited. But what we can do, maybe good come out of this, is to have this stuff expose light on it, right? And maybe not fix everything, but get us back on the track that we were on.
Okay, honestly, I don't think anything's broken.
I don't either.
I don't
right?
think anything's broken. I think that we have a problem with the people that are healthy. We give ourselves too freely. And then when we say, you know what, I got to get back to me. I got to, look, this over here, my stuff is crumbling because I'm helping you, my love. And I love you, but I must go tend to myself now because what you got going on is starting to decrease me. But when we want to get back to ourselves, it's like, no, you owe
That's
me.
the problem.
You belong to me now.
You've gotten accustomed that I've been doing for you when it's always been a choice from go. I did it because I loved you. I didn't do it because I was obligated.
But in that mind control, they don't believe that it was ever a choice because they want to believe that it was them, that it's a possession.
Yeah.
In these corporations' minds, even though they know what they're doing, they know that they're doing manipulative things. But in their mind, they have stripped us of our choice. We didn't have a choice. Where else you gonna go?
Exactly.
This is what my mom tell me. Where else you gonna go?
Yeah. But and it's not just you, right? Like
No, it's
so
all of us.
They just a lot, and I'm not like an anti-corporate person.
No,
it's
because I
good,
love my community.
right?
It's smart.
It's good, but
Freaking
they
Trip found us on
you
this.
get a few bad apples in
Yeah.
there that exploit the system. The work that we did, spent a year in Iraq, right, building something there that is actually helping to stop kids from putting suicide vests on and then
Exactly,
coming and blowing us up.
Yeah.
Well, when the contract ends and we're there building it, when the contract ends, even though we paid for that, the company kept the intellectual property rights, took it with them, and made it commercially available, leaving them out in the field empty-handed, going, "What the hell just happened?"
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not like it's any like any one group or something. It's just these people just
It's just a collective unit.
They just wanna. They don't care what
As long
happens.
as
They
they
don't
have-
care if
as-
that soldier's gonna die because some guy put his some kid put a vest on that wouldn't have otherwise put it on. That's kind of like these are the points that I'm trying to make. They could do so much good, but then you get a few bad apples in there, and then the system protects those. Instead of listening to what you have to say and possibly making the system a little bit better because you're in it, who's going to know better? Instead of listening to you, you're fighting them to where you actually have to go to court at this point,
Yeah.
right? How is that? It shouldn't be like that.
I think it's not going to be productive at the end. You know?
Because there is it's only one me. And that, when I was in that home, I'm sitting in the cafeteria with girls, and every Friday I have to hear a conversation that does not apply to me. Clean your room, wash your dishes, and I'm telling you that these women just don't know any better. Home training is what we are lacking. Look at what we're going through. Nobody wants to be at home. We at work.
Everybody
We're
wants
the general public. Let me tell you how the general public sounds
works.
right now. I want to give you an accurate description of the general public. Right now, COVID first starts, right? Oh, wow, I needed this break. I've been wanting to go home. 7 days into COVID. When school's starting back? Whose kids are these?
Yeah.
Where the teachers at? Right there.
Yeah. What's
At
going to
home.
happen to these
I'm
kids?
my
God.
I'm my children's first teacher.
Yeah.
And I stood on this. When I don't know what I was coming down with, but I was at the school when they were shutting things down. I was in my children's school in the momentum of them shutting COVID down. Like, and I was there, and I don't know if I was catching a cold or what, but I felt horrible. And I was sitting there, and I was telling the counselor, look, do you hear yourself? I'm not asking you for a thing. You keep calling me here to get my son. You're saying he's interrupted. You're saying he has all these mental issues, and I know better. Can't tell me about my kid. I said, here's what I'll do. You keep calling me down here. You're interrupting me. I keep telling you what I got going on with my house, and you don't have the resources to help me to make things stable, but you want me to be present. I say, it doesn't sound like I need you. I'm competent. I'm a high school graduate. I've gotten a certificate from the United States Department of Education. As far as I'm concerned, I have a degree in general education. I can teach my children up to the 12th grade. I said, so here's what I can do for you today. I don't feel well. I do not want to talk, and I'm not signing my son to be taken into any programs that you're offering. They do not work. I've done it before. I have an 18-year-old daughter. I'm not doing it again.
Yeah.
I see what it has done to my brother. I see what it has done to my uncle. You get a no. You get a veto. We don't want that. But what I can do is you can give me the papers. I'll remove my children from your school district, and I'll go sign up for the homeschool in Texas program. Well, no, Ms. Boy, we really want to help you. No, you don't want to help me. You want to know what I know, and you got to pay for that. So if you want to know what I want, you want to know what I know, then I'm going to need to have a house to take my children home to.
I'm sorry. Is that still light?
Yeah, it's still
Got
going.
the lights, the little bars going good. I just wanted to take a look at it. What's that?
Check that one, it made a sound.
It
And
did.
so,
It may.
This one's off.
It's off.
Yeah, that one's off.
Yeah.
I lost it.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I gotta go back and remember.
Talking about about the schools.
Oh yeah, and so in that process, I said I could take my kids home and they'll be good. I'm very knowledgeable. I'm very smart. I graduated, and I graduated in good standing. You know, not valedictorian, but I was up there high on the numbers. And they were looking at me, and they just try to argue with me and manipulate me and try to make me sign papers. I said, look, you won't get my signature on anything but I just take my children out. I'll DM them. I'll take them out. They don't have to be here. We don't have to use Fort Worth ISD. You don't have to support me, and I don't have to support you. And I don't need you to help us unless you're getting ready to help us get stable, unless you're getting ready to help me enforce the law on what these shelters are doing to me and do the right thing as a human being. We have nothing to discuss. I told you what's wrong with my children before you even had your social workers confirm it. You didn't diagnose them. I had already given you the diagnosis. I came in here and I told you my children are suffering socially and emotionally due to the structure of my family and us making a big move. I have them in counseling. I am trying to keep them in counseling. I am open to what you have to offer me, but you won't call me and disturb me every day. This is your house. If you want me to run your house, fire your principal and put me in the office. Other than that, I'm not going to run your house while you get the salary, and I'm outside in the streets.
It should be so much easier.
And I feel hurt. I feel used.
Somebody's not happy over there. So actually,
He's so cute.
Actually though, we're running low on battery power here.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to run this, shorten this up here to the end. But I wanted to thank you. It was really nice to meet you.
You
I swear
too.
to God, right?
I'm very excited.
I'm driving all over the country. You are the first person I sat down. I felt like comfortable that it's kind of like maybe you were the person I was looking for. Who knows? But you're the first person after riding my bike from Florida to Michigan to Texas, whose story I just came across and heard, that I was like, okay, she gets it. And again, and then meeting you the night before, just holding the door and such, and I had met your sons the night before. That was a cool story. He was like, I'm afraid to go. But no, I'm like sitting here thinking, wow, where is this? Where is this hatred and race that everybody's putting, right? And I'm like,
it's in our hearts.
It is.
It's in our hearts.
It is. But we need to listen to our hearts because it doesn't really exist in the way that it's being sold to us.
I think we need to
I can't believe it.
From anger. These opportunities aren't available if we approach each other in anger. If I'm sitting across mad at you, you're sitting across mad at me, yet we have no legitimate reason to be mad at each other, Mr. Patrick. No. You don't know me, I don't know you.
Once you get to know me, you might.
But that's anybody. That's me. That's my friend. That's my partner. That's my partner in business. My love bug.
Exactly.
And every day, every 20 minutes, we are like, okay, I love you. You know what I'm saying? That's anybody. Everybody's gonna have characteristics that you don't like. How do we utilize all of those parts to work together? This is where I want to come to. I'm not against anyone. I'm not against anyone that knows something less than I do. I want to help you in those parts. I feel like DNA, humanism, society is big fill in the blank. This is ecology. I think it's fill in the blank. That's what I think it is. Hey girlfriend, what's going on? Sister girl, oh girl, I'm just bugged out, tired. These kids are getting on my nerves. I could really just use a glass of Chardonnay and a spa night to myself. Okay girlfriend, look, I ain't got you today. But tomorrow evening, I'm off. I ain't gonna be doing nothing but sitting on the couch with my rollers, letting my kids run around my house. Bring yours, they can run, drop off Cheez-Its and pretzels, a box of Sun-Kissed. We cool. Call it a square. Simple. That doesn't take money. That takes love. That doesn't take money. That takes love.
Yeah.
I remember a time when family were families. Sunday, we would go over grandma's house and everybody was at grandma's house. Not just your family, everybody down the street, all the neighbors, everybody was barbecuing, and you couldn't stop people from going back. And I'm privileged enough and well-rounded enough. I grew up in black and white communities. It was the same. The love was the same. Culturally different, same love.
Your grandmother was white, wasn't she?
No, I have married in white
Okay.
family. I have uncles.
Somebody who helped raise you.
Oh,
though,
my grandfather.
was
My the first grandfather I ever known. He was Caucasian. His
Proud?
name was Gene.
Proud.
Very
Good.
proud.
Sounded like a good man.
Very good man. Had his ailments. He was on heroin really bad from being in the military. But good man. He took care of me. He took care of my grandmother. Took care of her home. The best of his ability.
You dig down into anyone that has issues like that. You said has heroin problem, but in the middle, you dig down and you don't have to dig far, and you understand why
we all
we
have
all
our
have
issues.
our issues.
It's no different
Yeah.
than like my mom. She doesn't drink. She doesn't smoke. Generally a sweet lady. I give people kudos. Am I angry with her? Hell yeah. Do I think she messed up my life? Hell yeah. But at the bottom of her, really good woman. She doesn't drink. She doesn't smoke. But her trauma,
Yeah.
she will spend all the money.
Yeah.
Make her angry. Bank account gone. We don't know what she did. Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Walmart, Macy's, anything, Amazon she can order, she's ordering it. No different than a heroin addiction.
Yeah.
It's no different.
So
In my opinion.
So we got to wrap it up because I'm running low on battery. I think that one's
that was
done.
good.
But it also could be a heat issue.
Yeah.
Beautiful camera, but the sun was on it over there. We got this here, but that's going to go out, the audio, very
Okay.
shortly. Again, it was really, I really appreciate you taking the time. I really do believe, like, I'm riding all over the place, and this is Susan will tell you, you're the first person that I've felt that I found the story maybe even that I was like looking for, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even know really what I was looking for. I'm just trying to get a message out, a message that's, things aren't as bad as you think they are, even when they're really bad.
Yeah, I think we can fix this. I think it's going to take a lot of soul searching. I think that it is going to take a lot of vulnerability to really just express our truest emotions and feelings and speak how we really feel as humans, without all the rhetoric.
And help our fellow mankind.
Yeah,
you know?
and help each other.
Help
It's not
yourself,
hard.
like the thing with the airplane, right? The oxygen, you put it on yourself, then you help the others around you.
Yeah,
Well,
I can't.
America needs
oxygen
to
you,
do
and
that.
then I can't
you know?
breathe.
America could use that right
Yeah.
now. We need to focus on ourselves. Our country's shutting down. The businesses. It's I've been driving all over.
We could use a break.
It's
We
bad.
could use a little bit
We need
of
to-
untangling
Yeah.
with other countries right now. Like we need a break from our
Absolutely.
relationships with you all. Could you give us a year or two to work on our relationship?
So let us figure our own thing out, and
Yeah.
then we'll help others.
And of course we know that we're not. We the people. Some of us are not knowledgeable of the incurred debt that we owe. That's what we need time to do.
There
We
goes
need
our
time
kids
to.
again, right?
We need the time to fix
That's
the
a whole nother.
We need
that's a
to
whole
fix
nother
the
conversation you
infrastructure.
have
I need a
all
lot
by
more
itself.
battery for that.
Yeah.
Plug it
We
in.
just need to fix the infrastructure. So what I want from the end of this video, before we lose power and audio, is just to encourage people to think and act for themselves, and wherever they feel pressured or squeezed, to go in that flow and in that direction and find justice for themselves, so that we can put the pieces back together.
Yeah.
I'm not
Amen
looking to
that.
hurt anyone. I'm not looking to harm anyone. I don't want to fight. I don't want bloodshed. I don't want war. I don't want anarchy.
Who
I
does?
want love and peace.
Who does? We
and
got enough
prosperity.
problems than to make it
And
more for ourselves.
Honestly, we're already too low at the bottom.
There you go.
We need love. We need peace. We need bubbly. We need happy times. We need love and happiness.
The bar's set really low right now. We don't have to really do a lot to say, hey, look at us.
Yeah. We really don't. We really don't. And I think right now our expression should be, hey, you need a shirt, you got a shirt. You need a cup, you got a cup. But are you willing to go get the water once I give you this cup?
Yeah.
Like, we have to be wanting to do something for ourselves. And what I'm noticing a lot in America now is that we have just, I think it's just hopelessness. I don't think it's, I think that's is what the media wants, just to be hopeless and just whatever y'all say do, because we don't know what to do, and nobody out here really knows.
But there's
that we're
no
arguing
reason
with
to
each
be
other.
hopeless because we've got so much power.
Yes, we do.
Right? We
Yes,
really do.
And aren't we all just the people at the end of the day? So really, it's enough money to go around. Why is everybody just holding it? That's what commerce
Enough
is.
things to create. There's enough money to be made. There's enough ideas out there that people haven't made. Your kids are gonna do something amazing if we give them that power, right?
And that's
or they'll
and that's and
fail
that's
and
and that's
screw
really,
up just like we
and that's
did.
really who's being
I'm
and that's
okay
really
with
and
it.
that's really who's being exploited right now.
It-
It's
it
the
is.
children.
If I had to say anything I want to put on this video, we need to quit being fearful. We don't always need to go the path that your grandmama or your family walked down. It's blazing new paths, but we too scared to walk down those paths for one reason or another. Maybe it's criticism of other fellow human beings. Maybe it's the hardness of that this is a new path that you're creating and no one's did it before. But Einstein, Tesla, we have so many people that it was their first time. They thought they were crazy. They wasn't. They were right on point. And we have people right here today living in our generation that's right on point. But we so fearful of those new inventions. We can't be fearful.
And on that, Susan, thank you very much for
Thank
your
you,
help
Susan.
over there.
Yeah,
We'll cut your face out over there, but I gotta thank you because she's been amazing. Absolutely. Thank you guys very
No problem.
much, Jason.
One more thing
Yes.
before we go.
Yes, ma'am.
The power of the pen is mighty. Silence is your friend. Petition over protest wins every single time.
Go and vote, right?
Go vote.
You can tear all the statues down you want. You're not going to change shit. Go and frickin'
Yeah,
vote.
go vote.
Go
Put your
vote.
pen
But
down.
don't
Put your
just
name
go
on
and
it.
vote for just anybody,
No.
right? I gotta get because I've never told this story on like tape, but we talked about it earlier, right? That I ran for.
Oh, we could do this for hours. We gotta end it, y'all.
We gotta end it. But no, your vote. It's
It
simple.
matters. It counts. It
matters.
counts.
One vote can make a difference, right?
Yeah.
And so get out there
We're gonna talk about
and
that
do
too,
that, right?
voting. 'Cause
And
there's an in-house thing going on while we don't vote.
and follow what you're looking at following with these things that you're working on because your voice is important. And you
Yes,
got
I
somebody
do.
to
I
help
have,
you here.
I have a podcast that I'm working on. I have, like I said, the UAB that I'm working on with a group of friends, and I are working on the standards and implementing other programs. We actually want to take over all of the agencies. We want our stuff back so that we can do it the right way. No more GMO, processed foods. All we want certified real food.
Yeah.
Real food, real seeds in the soil, water, nutrients.
Personally, I set my expectations for everything way down here, but I worked for the government for like a decade. So.
You said your program, huh?
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
And thank you for anybody and everybody who can help out with this Patreon and with the podcast and sharing this and everything. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank
Good night
you.
and God bless.
Nice meeting you all.